This week in game news, it was revealed via Game Rating that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan is in development by Platinum Games. Dwarf Fortress 0.42.01 was released, and I still don't understand it. Portal-themed items have come to Rocket League, Red from Transistor came to Indivisible, and speaking of Indivisible, the crowdfunding campaign for that game is almost over at the time of production, having raised well past $1.7 million. The second annual Game Awards happened in Los Angeles this week. Produced by Jeff Keighley, some neat stuff was announced and some cool games were honored. Also, we're giving away some Steam keys this week. All this and more, for this is the Blackman and Robin Game News Updates. By the way, you're watching the trailer for Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. In development by Dim Bulb Games, it's set to come to Mac and Windows in 2016. To begin with, we have some rather disappointing news for fans of Project M, which was a modification for Smash Bros. Project M changed several aspects of Smash Bros. Brawl by bringing physics and stats over from Melee, which many Smash fans regard as being the best version of the game. The Project M website has been replaced by a goodbye letter from the developers, saying that they learned stuff and are on to bigger and better things. There's no word on if they received a cease and desist from Nintendo, but that seems like a possibility since the download links for Project M were pulled from the site. This is coming in the wake of some new skins being announced for Project M characters. Perhaps they went just a step too far? Perhaps. Whatever the case, there are still places to find Project M online. For now, however, it would appear that Project M 3.6 is the final version. We're trying to get rid of all the bad news early this week, so we might as well come out and say it regarding Mastertronic. The publisher has entered administration. What this means, essentially, is that they owe money and that they're looking for ways to pay it off. Andy Payne of Mastertronic told DevelopOnline.com that they're helping all developers get their games under full control. So even though the company's crashing and burning due to debt, they're still working in the best interests of the developers who signed on to publish their games with Mastertronic. Founded in 1983, Mastertronic started life publishing cheap PC games on cassette tapes. At some point, Sega bought up the original company, but in 2006, the Mastertronic Group was formed. This new company acquired the rights to the old Mastertronic name. The UK-based Mastertronic Group has published some rather interesting games, such as 10 Second Ninja and No Pineapple Left Behind. Can we move into happier news? I think it's time. The 2015 Game Awards happened this week, and honestly, they're the closest thing that video games have to the Golden Globes. This year's ceremony, I think, went better than last year's show, although there were a couple little hiccups. Here are your winners. For Best Multiplayer Game, Nintendo's Squid Shooting Splatoon took home the prize. Best Esports Team went to Optic Gaming, and Her Story won for Best Narrative. Viva Seifert, who acted in Her Story, took home the award for Best Performance in The Witcher 3 as Geralt of...
Viva Seifert, The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3.
Whoops! She wasn't in that game. Apparently there was a little bit of a mix-up. Viva Seifert actually won for her performance in Her Story. Rocket League took home the award for both Best Independent Game as well as Best Sports/Racing Game. That's right, folks. The best sports game of the year is about cars playing soccer. Also, while we're talking about Rocket League, we might as well mention that this week, it was announced that the game is coming to the Xbox One and will come with all 3 previously released DLC packs, along with exclusive cars. Regrettably, this version won't have crossplay with the PlayStation 4 or PC version of the game. Rocket League will be released on the Xbox One during February 2016. Ori and the Blind Forest took home the prize for Best Art Direction. The Industry Icon Award went to Westwood Studios, the development studio behind Dune 2, and it was accompanied by a great video on the history of Westwood Studios and their influence on real-time strategy titles. Mind you, the video game Dune 2 is widely hailed as the forefathers of all RTS games. It laid the framework for things like Warcraft, Starcraft, and Age of Empires, and wound up leading to the super popular genre known as the MOBA. Best Action-Adventure Game went to Metal Gear Solid 5. Kiefer Sutherland, the voice of Snake, picked up the award, while the award for Developer of the Year went to CD Projekt Red. The Poland-based developer also took home the award for Best Role-Playing Game, as well as the Game of the Year award for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, their open-world fantasy RPG based on the book series of the same name.
All these years, which you probably remember from our trailer, I'd like to thank the team. I already did that. You are the best studio, and you already got an award for that. And I'd like to thank gamers, because we started in 2002 with the dream of making an RPG with mature story, highly non-linear, and nobody believed that. After 5 years, released Witcher 1, PC only, great fan support, then Witcher 2, and this award is for all these 3 Witchers and all of your hard work. Thank you very much.
Regarding announcements from the show, Telltale Games, the folks behind Minecraft Story Mode, announced that they were working on a Batman-themed adventure game in conjunction with DC. Mind you, this is going to be very different from the Batman Arkham series. Telltale's games are a lot more story-oriented. They're like old-fashioned point-and-click adventure games, but with a much heavier focus on narrative. A new trailer was unveiled for Far Cry Primal. Apparently, you can tame saber-toothed cats, bears, and all manner of prehistoric beasts. That one's coming out for the Xbox One, PS4, and Windows on February 23rd, 2016.
Where are the groupies?
Oculus VR founder Palmer Luckey appeared in a trailer alongside Dragon Force for Rock Band VR. Being developed in conjunction with Harmonix, the game will apparently bring you one step closer to living the dream of being a rock star in virtual reality. The game will be available for the Oculus Rift in 2016. It's going to boast compatibility with the Oculus Touch controllers.
Did you see Herman's facial artistry?
A game called
Psychonauts 2 was announced this week. In development by Double Fine, it's the sequel to the critically acclaimed Psychonauts, duh. The first game was about kids in a summer camp for psychics. The game had Double Fine's own brand of wacky humor. While it didn't sell particularly well on consoles, in later years it did great on PC and found new life thanks to digital sales. The story of Psychonauts 2 follows Raz, the protagonist from the first game. He goes to the Psychonauts headquarters, but upon his arrival discovers that the titular Psychonauts, psychic secret agents, need his help. Raz will be going inside the minds of these agents to help them unravel their deep-seated emotional issues. At the time of production, Psychonauts 2 had raised over $1 million on Fig.co, the crowdfunding platform we covered some months ago. What makes Fig.co unique is that it'll allow backers to actually invest in a game. If you believe in a game project so much that you'd like to see dividends on it, Fig.co has you covered. So, what did you think about this year's Game Awards? Personally, I think that they improved. They felt less commercial and more focused on the games this year, which was quite nice. Of course, it was still pretty heavily commercial. Also, I personally think it'd be neat if we talked about why the games were nominated at a game award show, and the reasons why the games are winning. Whatever you think, hit us up on Twitter at Blackman and Robin, and we'll be sure to share the best tweets on next week's episode. Regrettably, however, somebody was not at the Game Awards.
And as you noticed, Hideo Kojima is not here with us tonight, and I want to tell you a little bit about that.
Hideo Kojima, the man behind the Metal Gear franchise, wasn't able to attend the Game Awards this year, not because he was otherwise occupied, but because Konami outright blocked him. Konami, in case you somehow missed the news, has been backing away from AAA video games and towards gambling machines and exploitative cell phone games. They cancelled Silent Hills, the Silent Hill game that was being developed with Guillermo del Toro, and they've been quietly trying to fire Hideo Kojima. They've been embarrassing themselves over the last several months, and this is just the latest in a long line of gaffes that they've committed. So why couldn't Kojima come? Well, as revealed by Jeff Keighley during the show, Konami's lawyers quite literally forbade him from attending the show. If he went to the Game Awards, there would have been legal repercussions. So I'm disappointed in Konami for being so unreasonable, but I'm not surprised. Here's hoping that Kojima gets to leave Konami in one piece, and that he gets to kickstart a sequel, or, well, a spiritual successor to Snatcher. Or, at the very least, work with a jazz band to do a tribute album. I mean, honestly, Snatcher has an amazing soundtrack. Xenoblade Chronicles X was released on the Wii U. An open-world sci-fi game, Xenoblade Chronicles X isn't exactly the sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, but it is set in the same universe. In Xenoblade Chronicles X, you're an explorer of a new world called Mira. After humanity lost the Earth in the wake of an intergalactic war, it became necessary to find a new home. Thus far, the game has gotten great reviews from critics, and from what I've seen, players are having a great time with it. Also worth mentioning, you can buy a mecha to explore Mira in. Just saying. If you've ever wanted to play Skyrim in the world of James Cameron's Avatar, Xenoblade Chronicles X is as close as you're gonna get. Just Cause 3 was released on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Windows this week. Set in the Mediterranean, the game puts you once more in the boots of Rico Rodriguez, who's on a mission to free the people with explosions. The story of the game's not really its high point. Most folks are just playing for the explosions. It's an open-world game in which you blow stuff up, and thus far it's gotten decent reviews. However, some folks have reported issues with frame rate thanks to the game calling home to its servers. Over on Steam, Tron Runner went into early access this week for Windows. It's a racing game in which you run through the neon glitch-punk landscape that is the world of Tron. Thus far, it's gotten pretty good reception from fans. According to its page on Steam, the finished version of the game will also have a cycle mode for racing around on awesome glowy bikes. No word on if it's coming to other platforms, but it looks quite cool. Personally, I'm just happy that Disney Interactive is doing something with the Tron brand. Out now on Steam for Windows, Mac, and Linux is the strategy RPG Into the Void. In the game, humanity has left behind a ruined Earth, an all-too-familiar premise, and is now searching for the cause of their troubles. You command a fleet of ships, explore a randomly generated universe, and ally with or arm yourself against 4 other factions. Frankly, I couldn't find very many reviews of the game and can't really comment on its quality. Surprisingly few folks have played it. That said, I have seen a few good reviews of it. If you're looking for a 4X RPG, check it out. Also, Into the Void is available on Android. Apparently, that's where the game had its start. If you're more of a JRPG fan, Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Tree's Woe, and The Blight Below was released on Steam this week. The game was previously released on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. It's the latest game in the Dragon Quest franchise, and it's gotten decent reviews. Combat isn't turn-based, but real-time hack and slash. The game's story is that the monsters in the world, which were once peaceful, have turned on their human friends. You fight your pets in what is thematically one of the stranger games of the year. While the gameplay has been chided for being repetitive, aesthetically the game's undeniably fantastic. Akira Toriyama's awesome character design translated pretty well over to 3D. From what I've heard, the PC port runs smoothly, so if you've been waiting for this game, check it out.
Truly we are blessed! Never were there more dependable companions! Dragon Quest Heroes! The World Tree's Woe and the Blight Below!
In crowdfunding news, Pankapu the Dreamkeeper caught my eye on Kickstarter this week. In development for Windows, Mac, and Linux, the game is a gorgeous platformer that's told like a fairy tale about dreams. There's something about the art style that reminds me of Gen Z's work on Transistor, and I'm really hoping to see Pankapu succeed. The game has already been greenlit for distribution on Steam. Hopefully the first chapter turns out well when it's released in 2016. If you're wondering when the next chapter of Sierra's King's Quest is coming out, wonder no more. King's Quest: Rebel Without a Cause is coming out worldwide on December 16, 2015, for the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC. The latest in this episodic adventure game series, King's Quest is a return to a classic series with plenty of humor and action. Thus far, this new King's Quest series has been getting great reviews. Check it out if it looks like your sort of game. If you're in the market for a musical action game, good news. Amplitude is coming out on January 5th, 2016 for the PlayStation 4. The game features music from a nice variety of artists, including Darren Korb of Transistor and Bastion fame, Jim Guthrie, who did the music for Super Brothers, and Danny Baranowski, whose tunes are in Crypta the Necrodancer and Super Meat Boy. In case you're unfamiliar with Amplitude, what you should know is that the original version of Amplitude was released for the PlayStation 2, and the game remains a PlayStation exclusive. Hence, while we might see a PlayStation Vita release if the game is successful, it'll probably never come to Xbox or PC. While we're talking PlayStation exclusives, the PlayStation Experience is happening this weekend. It's Sony's big event for announcing major titles, talking about what their focus is for the next year, game-wise of course, and probably ignoring the PlayStation Vita, their wonderful handheld console that they've as good as abandoned. We'll have all the cool news from the PlayStation Experience on next week's episode. This week, however, we do have a bit of news that came to us early. This regards PlayStation 2 emulation. Unfortunately, it's going to be more expensive than initially believed. A few weeks back, we reported that Sony was bringing PS2 emulation to the PlayStation 4, hence allowing you to play PlayStation 2 games on your PS4. And while this is happening, you're not just going to be able to pop in a PS2 disc in the way that you can pop in a Wii disc into a Wii U or an Xbox 360 disc into an Xbox One. Rather, these games are going to be digital only. Further, it doesn't matter if you've already bought the games on other platforms such as the PlayStation 3. Even if you already own a digital PS2 game on the PS3, you'll have to buy yet another version for the PlayStation 4. Frankly, I think this is a blockheaded move on Sony's part, as it doesn't actually add much value to the console. For instance, suppose you've never owned a PlayStation 2 or an Xbox 360, but you are in the market for buying a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. You're looking at the back compatibility options for both consoles. Perhaps you have a friend who as good as owned all the consoles and is willing to give you games for either platform. So which do you pick? Well, if you'd like to enjoy more games more affordably, believe it or not, the Xbox One actually wins here. Xbox 360 emulation on the Xbox One will allow you to play games that you already own, whether they're on disc or if you bought them digitally. PlayStation 2 emulation on the PlayStation 4 will not. To clarify, it's not a bad thing that the PS4 is getting PS2 emulation, but it is kind of stingy of Sony to do it this way. As promised, we're giving away Steam keys this week. First off, we're giving away a Steam key for Night Squad. It's a great multiplayer game that was reviewed for Blackman and Robin by The Dealer. You can watch his episode of Dealer's Aces on the game if you'd like to see what it's all about. If you'd like to win a Steam key, all you have to do is check out our post on blackmanandrobin.com regarding this episode of Game News Update. Look for December 5th, 2015 Game News Update on the site. It should come right up. There, you can enter the raffle. Our other Steam key giveaway this week is for SteamWorld Dig. Seeing as SteamWorld Heist is coming out on December 10, 2015, we're giving away a copy of the previous game in the series, which is a fantastic Metroidvania. You can enter to win that over at vote.co/v/gaming. We'll have a post about it there. This giveaway is really meant for the Vote community since they've given great feedback to the Blackman and Robin Game News Update and have helped to make this show better. Oh, you don't feel like trying to win a game? Well, no worries. If you want something for free, guaranteed, check out Shadow Complex Remastered. Courtesy of Epic Games, it's free for the holidays. That is, until January 2016. It's a Metroidvania written by Peter David, and it was originally released on the Xbox 360. The remastered edition is now available for the PC for free if you go to shadowcomplex.com. The remastered edition of the game is also coming to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Is that somehow still not enough for you? Do you need a game with a longer name, maybe? try Dr. Langsakov, the Tiger, and the Terribly Cursed Emerald, a whirlwind heist, which was released on Steam for free this week. It's an experimental 20-minute heist game from Crows, a new little studio headed by William Pooh, who you may remember for his work on the Stanley Parable. Again, in case you somehow missed that name, it's Dr. Langsakov, the Tiger, and the Terribly Cursed Emerald, a whirlwind heist. McDroid is one of my favorite tower defense games. Released on Steam a year or two back, it's a frantic, beautiful game in which you play as a robotic strawberry farmer trying to protect a spaceship and your crops from aggressive alien worms. Some aspects of the game remind me of the Pikmin series, though the whole affair is significantly more chaotic. The reason I bring this game up is because it's coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One early in 2016. The ports are currently in development by Grip Games. For the Mirror's Edge fans, Paul Hillier released a short film called Assailment. It's a Mirror's Edge fan film, and it's pretty neat. While it is a little rough around some of the edges, it's nice to see such a well-polished fan work. You can check out more of his work at paulhillier.com.
Faith, we have visual. Extraction inbound.
Finally, we leave you with a trailer for Deadly Tower of Monsters. Being published by Atlas, it's a sci-fi comedy platformer for the PS4 and PC. The trailer is amazing and weird.
Some audio commentary for this re-release of the movie. Out pops our hero, the fearless Dick Starspeed, played of course by actor Jonathan Digby.
Greetings, citizens of Gravoria. I am Dick Starspeed, and I come in peace.
Went on to some minor roles after this. Such a shame. I thought from day one this guy's got leading man written all over his face. Oh, there's Stacy's grand entrance.
I am the magnificent Scarlet Nova.
Oh, this scene. This is practically Shakespeare in outer space.
Take that!
Pew, 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 pew. Now, what's a space adventure film without a trusty robot sidekick, huh? Am I right? Fun fact, we actually had an actor inside the robot suit moving him around. I bet you thought it was an actual robot, huh? That's how good he was. It was a shame we couldn't afford to pay him. Hey, Patrick, I was thinking we should take a little break and get a bite to eat. You like Chinese?
Well, that's it for this week's game news. For all the latest, be sure to follow at Blackman and Robin on Twitter and Instagram. If you'd like to be subjected to my own views, be sure to follow me at Jordan_Cameron on Twitter. If you'd like to enter our giveaways, check out the crowdfunding projects we shared this week, or check out our awesome reviews and interviews, be sure to visit our site blackmanandrobin.com.